In the time long after the blessed era of the Prophet ﷺ, in a small village nestled between golden hills and a winding river, there lived a young boy named Yusuf. He was perhaps 12 years old, with bright eyes and a heart full of faith, though his family owned very little. His father had passed away when Yusuf was still a small child, and his mother worked her fingers to the bone weaving cloth to sell at the market. Every morning, Yusuf would wake before the call to Fajr prayer echoed across the rooftops of the village. He would wash in the cool water of the clay pot beside his bed, roll out the small prayer mat his father had left him, and stand in the darkness of his humble home, whispering his prayers with a sincerity far beyond his years. His mother often watched from the doorway, her heart swelling with quiet pride and with grief that she could give him so little of the world's comforts. One autumn morning, Yusuf's mother handed him a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside were 3 round flatbreads and a handful of dried dates, their food for the entire day. "Take these to the market," she said softly. "Sell 2 breads and bring back what coins you can. 1 bread is for your lunch." Yusuf nodded, tucked the bundle under his arm, and set off down the dusty road toward the village market. The morning air was crisp and sweet with the smell of dew on the earth. Birds called from the branches of old fig trees, and the sound of the river humbled everything with its quiet rush. Halfway to the market, Yusuf came upon an old man sitting beneath the shade of a large acacia tree. The man's clothes were dusty and torn at the hem. His sandals were broken and tied together with a strip of dried bark. His white beard fell to his chest, and his lips moved. He was making dhikr, remembering Allah even in his exhaustion. Yusuf stopped. The old man looked up with tired but kind eyes. "Peace be upon you, young one," he said, in a voice rough from thirst. "And upon you peace, uncle," Yusuf replied. He looked at the man's cracked lips, at the way his hands trembled slightly over his rosary of wooden beads. "Are you well? Have you eaten?" The old man smiled, a slow, dignified smile. "I walked since before Fajr from the next village. I am a traveler. I have nothing left, not a coin, not a morsel." He paused, then added quietly, "But Allah provides. He has never abandoned me." Yusuf looked down at his bundle. He thought of his mother's instruction: sell 2 breads, keep 1. He thought of her tired hands. He thought of the single coin they needed to buy the oil lamp wick that had burned out the night before. Then he thought of the old man's trembling hands, of the Prophet ﷺ, who said, "The one who goes to sleep full while his neighbor is hungry is not a true believer." Without another thought, Yusuf opened the cloth and held out all 3 breads and the dates to the old man. "Please eat, uncle. You are a traveler. Allah has more right over this food than the market does." The old man looked at the boy for a long moment. His eyes glistened. He took the food gently, said Bismillah, and began to eat slowly. Then he looked up at Yusuf with an expression the boy would never forget. Not pity, not mere gratitude, but something deeper. Recognition, as if he saw in this child something rare and precious. "What is your name, young one?" the old man asked. "Yusuf, son of Ibrahim." The old man nodded slowly. "Yusuf, may Allah make you like the Prophet Yusuf, patient in hardship, generous in ease, and always raised by Allah when the world tries to lower you." Yusuf walked to the market with nothing to sell. He sat in his usual spot and simply waited, not sure what to do. He was not afraid. Something in his chest felt warm and settled, like embers. He had done what felt right. Whatever came next was in Allah's hands. An hour passed. Then a merchant, a large man with a cart piled with woven rugs, stopped in front of Yusuf. "Boy, do you know this village well?" "Yes, sir. I was born here." I need someone to guide me to the home of the cloth weaver. I hear the finest cloth in this district comes from here. I'll pay a full silver coin for the guide." Yusuf's heart leaped. A full silver coin. That was more than his mother earned in 3 days of weaving. He led the merchant carefully through the winding lanes of the village to his mother's doorstep. The merchant looked at her work and was so pleased that he placed an order for 12 lengths of cloth, the largest order Yusuf's mother had ever received. She stood in the doorway after the merchant left, holding the silver coins in her palm, tears streaming silently down her face. "Yusuf," she whispered, "how did this happen? You came—"
That evening, Yusuf returned to the acacia tree on the edge of the road. The old man was gone. Only the faint impression in the dust showed where he had sat. Yusuf stood there in the fading light and made a quiet dua. "O Allah, whoever that man was, keep him safe on his journey. And if I did something good today, let it be for your sake alone, not for the silver, not for the order of cloth, only for you." A cool breeze moved through the acacia branches. Leaves drifted down like small golden hands. Yusuf smiled and walked home. This story carries within it one of the most beautiful truths of Islam, that tawakkul, complete trust in Allah, is not passivity. It is giving your best, doing what is right, and then releasing the outcome to the one who controls all things. Yusuf did not calculate. He did not weigh his hunger against the stranger's hunger and find a neat balance. He simply acted from his heart, guided by the words of the Prophet ﷺ and the love of Allah. And Allah, as he always does, responded with abundance. The old traveler disappeared like a lesson. The silver coins came like a sign. And the boy who had nothing to sell walked home richer than any merchant in that market. Not in coins alone, but in the certainty that Allah sees every small and beautiful act of a sincere heart.